Super Rugby and my Blues have had a win. Will wonders never cease? 19 points to 18 winners over the Hurricanes at Eden Park. She's not been the prettiest watch, this one, but hey, it is a win for the Blues nonetheless. I think you'd have to say the goal kicking of Bowden Barrett was largely pretty good. Certainly better than the Canes kicking, which let them down and left a few points out there. Blues line-out was also pretty solid. Defensively, pretty solid both sides. The fact there's only 3 tries scored in the entire game is testament to that. But, I mean, she wasn't the prettiest watch if you love some tackles and turnovers, and this is your game. But, yeah, the Canes, I feel like, are going to be pretty disappointed. Duplessis Karefi was being interviewed on the pitch after the match, and he seemed pretty frustrated, and I can kind of see why. But, man, as a Blues fan, I'll take this one all the way to the bank. Do either of these teams look like they're going to win Super Rugby? Hey, not really. But a win is a win. We'll go through some of the key events and the stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts on the game. Both sides defensively holding out pretty well early on, and it was a trend that would continue throughout the entire game. First chance of the game for points on the board was Hohepa with a shot at goal on 9 minutes. Kickable one, but he pushed that one wide. And then a chance for the Canes to have a man advantage when Patrick Tuipulotu gets yellow carded for a high shot on Walker Leawere. Lucky for Paddy, Walker Leawere was kind of just dropping right as he hit him. So that's mitigation. So it's a yellow card for Paddy. And the Canes go for the jugular. They go for touch. They go for a maul against 14 men, but the Blues are able to shut that one down. So that's a clear chance missed, I suppose. And then the Hurricanes have an attacking line out, not in the best territory, but it's still in decent field position next up, and they lose that one. And Eklund, the hooker for the Blues, is able to hoof the thing clear. So a couple of missed opportunities to exert pressure on the Blues while having the man advantage. And despite the man disadvantage, the Blues finally managed to kind of escape their own half and put a bit of pressure on the Canes to the point where they conceded a penalty. Bodie slots that one, and a man down, the Blues take the lead 3 points to 0. Next chance, though, in the Blues half, it did look like the Canes had taken it because they had a 5-metre line out. They mauled it, the maul went over, but it got TMO'd after it had been given for a bit of obstruction from Almua, who was just in front of the maul and detached, so he's blocking the play, and that one gets chalked off. They did go back for an advantage, went through some more Hurricanes phases, they had another advantage. This time they decide, bugger it, let's just take the 3. So that's kind of a win for the Blues, because after all that pressure, and despite having an extra man, the Canes are only able to level things up rather than take the lead. And then not long after the restart, the Canes concede another penalty. This one was a no-arms tackle, and the Blues are pretty much immediately able to get those 3 points they just conceded back. So kind of frustrating for the Canes, I would imagine. But again, as the Blues supporter, we're not playing that well, but hey, we're 3 points up and defensively holding the Canes out. So 6 points to 3. That being said, the Blues did concede a try. It did come. Eklund, high tackle. He was kind of flying at Ruben Love. Wasn't the best looking tackle, to be fair. But the Hurricanes went back to the maul. This time, it did manage to go over. Braden Yose was able to get the try. It is converted, so the Canes get that, I feel like, deserved lead. 10 points to 6, and they extended it not too long later when Lomax won a penalty at the breakdown, and then Papali'i conceded a penalty at the breakdown. So back-to-back penalties against the Blues. Take the 3, the Hurricanes, so 13 points to 6. Starting to look like it's getting a bit more comfortable for the Canes, but not that comfortable because, again, the Canes, after scoring points, unable to kind of get a clean exit. And the Blues pretty much straight down the Canes' end. Again, it's another grass cutter tackle from the Canes. Penalty conceded, the Blues tap and go, and Renata, who had a pretty big game, is able to go over from close range. So 13 points apiece. We go into the sheds with the same difference between the sides as we started. It is all tied up. The Blues have had slightly more possession, 52%. The territory is even, 50-50. The clean breaks is even, 1-1. But, I mean, the penalty count's 9-3 against the Blues, and there's been a yellow card there as well. So for all that, Canes would have liked to have had at least one more try or one of those shots at goal go over, but it is all square. Blues managed to go in front when the Canes are offside at the start of the second half, so 16 points to 13, and absorbed a lot of pressure from the Canes. This is another moment where you feel like Canes probably needed some points from this. You got Renata, who after a load of phases is able to win a penalty to break down, and then not long later it's the same deal, but it's Sotutu this time with the big defensive play. So that's what I mean. Like, if you're a purist and love watching some tackles and turnovers, you got some sexy stuff, because there was a fair bit of that. Less so for the tries. Bowden Barrett with a high tackle on 54 minutes means the Canes have got another shot at goal. Hohepa pushes that one wide as well. And my son was sitting next to me watching the game as well, and he was, what was the phrase he used? He says, is this Kickminton? As kind of a play on badminton, because there was a fair bit of back and forth. Roygaard was putting up some thunderous high balls. Bowden Barrett was kicking from hand. Some of his kicks from hand were pretty sweet. Like a couple of really nice touch finders, including one when the Canes missed touch. Bodie had no angle and just kind of bent a really sweet touch finder as well. So there were some pretty sweet kicks. My 9-year-old son wasn't that appreciative of the kicking, but there was some of that going on. The Hurricanes finally did manage to get over the Blues line for the second time. The forwards went close, the backs went wide. Punivai went over in the corner, but thankfully being in the corner, the conversion was missed, so 18 points to 16. And then the Hurricanes, 5 minutes after going in front, concede a penalty at the breakdown. Bodie hits a really nice long-range penalty to retake the lead, 19-18. That is the final scoring of the game. There still was 15 minutes to play. Bodie had another shot before that time was up, but that one went wide. It was his first miss of the night. It would have made it, that the Canes needed a try to kind of force their hand, but it still didn't end up being costly anyway. There were some big turnovers. I mean, Karefi won a really nice one when the Canes were under a bit of pressure, but there was also a bit of drop ball. Like Ruben Love dropped a kind of high ball, so yeah, just needed that clutch moment, and it didn't quite come for the Canes. Turnovers conceded, you feel like, as a costly one. 12 by the Canes, 9 by the Blues. So the Blues slightly more clinical, but man, did we concede some penalties. 14-8. Like, you like to keep it below 10, but they were almost at 10 at half-time, the Blues. So if anything, the second half penalty count was actually slightly better. 9 in the first half, 5 in the second. Tackle percentage of both sides is pretty good. Only 3 tries in the game, so that makes sense. 87 by the Blues, 90 by the Canes. Line breaks, 3-1 to the Canes. So they had enough offensive numbers to get the job done, but also their line-out struggled. The Canes, 79% is poor. The Blues are at 100. The goal kicking, the Blues got 1-from-1 conversion and 4-from-5 penalties, which is pretty solid, whereas the Canes missed a conversion and 2 penalties. Costly, given you lost by a point. Sotutu was busy on the carry, 13 of them. Papali'i had 25 tackles, though he did concede a few penalties. Walker Leawere also 17 tackles. Duplessis Karevi also 17 tackles. But yeah, the only side we can beat this season is the Canes. But as I said, neither side is looking that flash compared to last year. But hey, still half a season to go. We'll see if these sides are able to take it to another level. The Hurricanes have got the Crusaders next. And the Blues have got Moana Pacifica. So both of those games, I think, will be pretty interesting contests next week. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. If you're a Blues fan, happy that we managed to get a win, subscribe to the channel. I'm a happy man as well. And if you're a Canes fan, I'm sorry, but you can subscribe as well. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.